Hello, this is Mike Nielsen. Welcome to this KD Mastery video. In this video I'm going to show you an example of an outline. This type of outline is what I call a story summary, which is probably better suited for pantsers, that is people who don't need to know every little part of their story before they start writing. If you're a plotter who likes to know every single detail about your story before you type a single word, then this type of outline is probably not for you. However, the story summary is excellent at getting to the core of the story really fast. It contains 5 different elements: the premise, a weakness, a need, a desire, and an antagonist. The premise is the part of your story summary where you actually tell people what the story is about, or in this case tell yourself what the story is about. It can be reasonably short, but you can also make it longer depending on how much detail you want to put in. The example I'm showing you here is pretty long because I wanted to flesh it out with more detail because I had no intention of creating an actual plot with every scene outlined. The plan is actually just to start writing based on this story summary. So in this case it had to be fairly detailed. An actual story premise is a reasonably short paragraph, a couple of lines telling you what the core of your story is. This one's slightly longer. Susie's father is running for a major office, and she is dedicated to helping him with his campaign. She's in on the tactics and strategies of the campaign. It's hard work that keeps her up late with little time for socializing. A member of the campaign, Tim Fox, is working hard to help her with her work. She's attracted to him, and he seems attracted to her. After a night where they've been burning the midnight oil, they fall in love. They spend all their time together and steal romantic moments here and there. Then she finds out that Tim has been working for the major opposing candidate, using her to gather intel on critical campaign strategies. She's furious at being used like that and can't believe Tim would be able to do the things they did together without being in love. She calls him the greatest pretender of all time. The truth is, in the beginning it was easy for Tim. Susie is a beautiful young woman, and it wasn't difficult to pretend to be attracted to her. The problem is, after a while he did fall in love with her. Now he's in an impossible situation where he can't convince her of his love for her, and he can't pass the information on without betraying her even more. So that gives you a pretty good overview of the story. It doesn't give you a scene-by-scene description, but this tells you a lot about what's going to happen in the story, and you can probably see how this would be some romantic story, maybe a romantic straight-to-TV type of movie. It could also be turned into a romantic comedy if you wanted to do that. But definitely this premise gives you a lot of information about the actual story. So the weakness is the next part, and for the next couple of parts we are going to focus on the main character, which in this case would be Susie. And the weakness is something every character should have, and that is to avoid making the character too perfect, because if your character becomes too perfect, it's very difficult for readers to relate to that character. Now, Susie is very wild beyond measure. She has trouble leaving things to others. She simply doesn't trust them to do a good enough job. However, her worrying doesn't just extend to work-related things. More than once people have taken advantage of her worrying nature. So, She's always worried about whether things are being done well enough, so you could probably add perfectionist to this. And she also worries how other people are doing, and that's something that people have been taking advantage of. So this is something that definitely works well in terms of the character and helps you as a writer make the character more relatable. The next thing she needs is a need, and she will have both a need and a desire, and those can be pretty difficult to differentiate between at first, but the need is, the desire is what the character wants, the need is what the character needs, and those might not necessarily be the same thing, because sometimes the thing we need isn't actually the thing we want. So in this case, Susie needs to realize that sometimes it's alright to leave even important tasks to others, that she isn't the only one who can do a good enough job. And the truth is, with a character like Susie, life would probably be a lot easier for her if she was able to leave some of the important tasks to others. It would mean she would be less stressed out, and it would probably be a good thing for her personal development to be able to do that. Her desire, that's what Susie wants. Susie fears failure. Some people buckle under the pressure. She just works harder. The most important thing in her life right now is being successful. Right now, that means getting her father elected to office. So, particularly the last sentence probably is that she's very focused on the mission, which is getting her father elected to office, and that is what she wants more than anything else right now. Why she wants it, well, that's another story and something you could probably add some information about here. The fact that she fears failure indicates that since she has begun this mission of helping her father getting elected, it's so important to her that she couldn't bear failing in this task. It could also be a step further in her career, getting her father elected and being one of the key members of his campaign staff would be something that would probably be able to help her career in some way. So finally, we're going to talk about the antagonist, and in this case, the antagonist is Tim, who is manipulative and deceitful. He will do or say just about anything to reach his goals. What he didn't expect was to fall in love with the one he was manipulating. So the antagonist part of the story summary is where you say something about the antagonist. And in this instance, I focus on some of his major personal traits, that he is manipulative and deceitful and what he will do or say. And in this case, it seems like he is very much that he's very much the type of antagonist where the ends justifies the means. However, he didn't expect that he actually had feelings of his own and that he would be able to fall in love with the one he was manipulating. And I think in this story, that's where it really gets interesting, is with Tim, when he realizes that he is actually in love with the one he is trying to manipulate, and that is going to create some very interesting conflict in this story. So that was a brief overview of the story summary, which is an example of how you can do an outline. As I mentioned at first, it's probably best for those writers who don't feel the need or want to create an extensive plot with thousands of pages before they actually start writing their book. I know some authors who use many worksheets to outline the plot, hundreds of worksheets sometimes, so that they know every single detail about the story before they get started. Personally, that's not the best way for me to write a story. That's not the process I use, and for me, story summaries are far more effective tools. I do sometimes move further with it than this and flesh some of it out if I feel the need to, but only when and if I feel the need to. So continue your self-publishing education, and do that at kdmastery.com. When you go to the site, there is a free gift, if you will, that you get if you sign up to continue your education. Some good advice that I think you should follow before you actually start publishing your books on Kindle or elsewhere. And do remember to subscribe to this channel and click the bell. Both of those are below this video, and that will help you get notified when I upload new videos, which is something that's going to happen quite frequently. So thank you for watching, and I hope you really enjoyed this video.